Welcome back. In this video, we're going over Palantir's new, fairly secretive comp package because there hasn't been too much talk about it. But I'm going over research that Arnie Trezzi has shared from the SEC filings and what it means for Palantir stock and how it could indicate Palantir management's confidence that Palantir stock gets to $50 and even exceeds it, not in the short term, right? But more medium term and not necessarily, 10 to 20 years out. So let's dive into it. So this is Arnie Trezzi. You should absolutely be following him on X, Twitter, YouTube. Subscribe to his free newsletter. It's insane value. And what he's saying here is Palantir's new stock-based compensation package needs the stock to exceed $50. So in the latest Q1 results, there is a tiny critical detail that he has found that said Palantir granted 44 million stock appreciation rights, which the abbreviation is SARs, to employees. How does this work? SARs are a way to incentivize employees by giving them a right to receive in cash the difference between the stock price and the target if certain conditions are met. The goal is to align employees with shareholders. Now, we know Palantir's been a target of criticism with respect to too much stock-based compensation in the past. However, you see how successful it was with companies like Tesla. A lot of tech companies obviously are big in stock-based compensation. I'm sure NVIDIA employees have gotten rich by making the company successful. So I certainly stand behind it, even if it costs some dilution. I think it is well out-earned in the fact that the stock itself appreciates so much. So let's see where this is going. This is the filing here from the stock-based compensation of the 10Q, showing the number of awards, 44 million that Arnie called out. And it says the market-based vesting condition is satisfied when the company's Class A common stock exceeds $50. The maximum appreciation is up to $20 per SAR. But before we dive into that, I want to talk about a video on AI in the 90s that covered the analogy of the internet back then and AI in today's markets. That was a super well done video by Visual Sectors, which does a great job outlining the past and even highlights a stock like Palantir and the work they are doing, comparing that back to Netscape and Microsoft and the players early on in the internet and how they were spending aggressively, and how, of course, there was the bubble burst, the market didn't recover for a long while, but how things are different this time in the sense that how much more competitive the market is, with barriers to entry like talent, R&D spending, the actual technology itself. So I don't want to spoil the video for you, but it gave me a great understanding of where the AI markets are going using history as a guide. So I encourage you to give the video a watch after this. And Visual Sectors is not a finance channel like the others. As you will see, they are experts focused on building tools with data and Wall Street veterans from BlackRock, BNP, and Commerce Bank. So go subscribe to the Visual Sectors YouTube channel. I'm sure you'll enjoy it as I have. Now let's continue with the video. So the details: $50 target, 5 years of continued service, $20 max appreciation. So in simple terms, employees will be entitled at the end of 5 consecutive years at the company. So they have to stay with the company, right? Because these have to vest over time, to benefit from the difference between the stock price and $50, but with a cap of $20 per SAR. So for instance, in 2029, if the stock is $30, worth zero. $50, worth zero, right? Because that's the strike. It needs to exceed $50. $60, it's worth 10. $80, capped at 20, 20. 100, capped at 20, it's 20, right? And so you might be wondering, well, why would they cap it? Well, it's essentially dangling that carrot, saying this could be worth a maximum of 20. And I think it is a good range because in 2029, 5 years out, we've done a lot of thinking about this, sharing this on the channel. Where's Palantir going to end up? There is a case to be made it's past 70, so it's leaving some money on the table for employees. But at the same time, who wouldn't be satisfied with $20 per SAR if you're able to get it there, right? So I think it's still a good deal for the employees, even if the stock does exceed the 20. And in that sense, it actually saves the company from a higher payout by still motivating employees, but not having to pay an insane amount if the stock does somehow significantly exceed it. So I think it's a win-win scenario. So with SARs, employees receive typically cash equal to the difference between the stock price and the target. SARs are a way to incentivize employees by aligning them to the performance of the business's stock while not issuing further shares. And differently from stock options execution, there is no issuance of new shares and no cash out from employees. Assuming that all employees received some SARs, if the stock exceeds $70 in 2029, each employee will receive an average of $240,000. Quite the payout for the average employee. I think that's awesome if that does occur. This is on top of the regular shares employees vest during their time at the company in the form of restricted stock units that we are pretty familiar with. So this is a massive shift in stock-based compensation. Currently, 74 million RSUs are outstanding, and that is equal to future shares to be awarded. And the 44 million new SARs, all granted in Q1, is the new addition that we're focusing on here. So we can have this intuition. 1/3 of the stock-based compensation is now pegged to the success of AIP. No performance, no reward, and I think it's great to see. I wouldn't be surprised if this 1/3 actually increases in the future, but it's a very big step forward. And to say you need the stock to exceed $50 from where it is right now at 20, that's crazy. You know, Tesla, Elon are in the news about his comp package getting revoked, trying to be revoted on, but it's truly something similar to that. Target is a monumental increase in the stock price, $70 from $20 for the maximum reward. I would say absolutely. Of course, you need a base salary and base comp and base stocks that you're satisfied with, but you also want to have this stretch goal to push for that is still a sizable chunk of the compensation. So I'd love to know what all of you think in the comments. I think this is incredible for where Palantir's going. The $70 target is huge. $50 of where management sort of thinking by 2029 for a base case, at least as far as it looks from this point. And I'm sure there was a lot of discussion about where do we strike these SARs, and I think it makes a lot of sense and sort of aligns with all the research we've been doing. So let me know what you think. Until next time.